a chance. Better men than you've been led this dance. To go, leave me, run like you've never run before. I have seen the worst, and there is nothing left for me to hate, so I can lay me down, my brothers, on the ground. I bled today until Coyote comes to raise me up and carries me.
Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rugby Podcast. I'm Craig Manson. How are you doing tonight? It's a wee bit of a delayed pod tonight, mainly because of a mixture of illness and work. I think young Allan McDonald was working or something like that. Leslie was free, ready to go and saying, "Yep, I can do this on a Thursday night," and then I got a massive dose of the man flu. So now I'm at the point of, if those of you who remember Friends, the sitcom, I have to say that nowadays because I make Friends comments and people look at me like I'm stupid. I now sound like Phoebe Buffay's voice when she got the cold. So hopefully husky and sounding great tonight. Thanks for joining us. Joining me tonight is just who I've just discussed, Allan McDonald and Leslie Armitage. How are you doing, both of you?
Yeah, good, Craig. All good. No flu over here.
No flu over there, no. And
I'm good, Craig. I wasn't working. I had to run my son to his cricket training, of all things.
There we go. So it wasn't work. So actually, it was just me that was letting the side down and being ill. And apparently, I'm not ill. It's just just me being a man. So. In a week that Donald Trump seems to have adopted the SRU's attitude to women's sports, what's been going on this week for you guys?
I've been living quiet. Watching someone really playing cricket nets has been the sum total of my week, and trying not to crow too much to the guy I share award with because, well, his name's Gethin Rhys-Williams, and enough said.
That's almost so Welsh. It hurts, really, isn't it? That name.
He's just pleased he felt something again after a Wales game. That's how bad it's got for them.
Well, I know how he feels because Leslie, both you and I have been watching the scores roll in from Edinburgh, and Edinburgh playing Scarlets, and I think Scarlets are out to wreak some revenge.
Yeah. Edinburgh do look like they have never met in the last 3 weeks that they've had off. And Scarlets don't look much better, but good enough to be beaten Edinburgh currently. Anyway.
They're on their way anyway, so we'll wait and see. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rugby Podcast, brought to you by the Scottish Rugby blog. Our podcast is part of the Sports Social Network. Don't forget to give us a follow or a like on your favourite podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to give us a follow on social media. You can find all the links on our site, www.scottishrugbyblog.co.uk. Well worth having a look on that site. There's a lot of good writing on there and discussion about Scottish rugby. If you're listening on Apple and like what we do, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like more content and want to support what we do, you can subscribe to our Patreon from about £3 a month, and that gives you access to our super secret Facebook group. And second part of tonight's podcast. It won't be coming along tonight because this is a free tier one, because we're just going to, there's not a massive amount going on right at this moment in time apart from the Six Nations, I'm aware, and also the under-20s, and also Scotland, Edinburgh and Glasgow women are playing, and also the Glasgow and Edinburgh are playing this weekend. But there's not a lot going on really, and mainly because I don't really want to talk about Edinburgh playing at the moment, so we'll just stick with Scottish just now. We do have a Patreon side of things. If you like to support us, what we do, and you like to be involved, please do. I think it's Scottish Rugby Podcast or something like that on patreon.com, something like that. Just look us up, go onto the blog site, and then you can have a look, and that'll give you the link to the Patreon. We do usually have about an hour's worth of chat. It's a little bit freer and a little bit less constrained with what's the word, with bad words, etc. Involved. Usually when we're talking about Scottish rugby or Scottish club rugby, there's lots of bad words involved. So if you want to come on and join us on there, we will have a wee look on the blog site, and that'll give you a link to get to it. News. Well, apart from nepotism going in the reverse direction at Saracens, and apparently you can get paid £1 million to go and teach your son how to tackle at the right height. The Nations Championship fixtures have been announced, and round 1, Scotland Argentina on the 4th of July. Round 2, South Africa on the 11th of July at Loftus. Argentina is in Argentina. And then on the 18th of July, we play at Murrayfield against Fiji, because apparently that's Fiji's home. Now it's the UK, apparently, not Fiji itself. Interesting set of fixtures. Don't forget, it seems to be a lot of flying points that are going to be accrued by Scottish players. Yeah, no, okay, no.
So we're just talking.
I'll just sit here and breathe heavily with this cold, and then the people just look at me like, "Oh, Craig I don't know what Craig was doing, but he was breathing incredibly heavily."
Yeah, but there's the content people want, Craig. We have to give people what they want. No, it's just, I get the rationale for Fiji playing in the UK because they'll get more money, etc., but I think season pass tickets are going to be included in that, and that just so it's going to be a home game in a stadium full of Scotland fans, and that just doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
Leslie, chance of actually doing well, but because we're generally stinking in Suva.
Well, yeah, there is that, but I think, Leslie, the amount of travel that's involved in this is a bit concerning as well. You're going from Argentina up to altitude at Loftus, then you're back to Murrayfield within 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I think England had suggested that for their fixtures, they may well send a Diddy team to somewhere and send their main team onto the following fixture to make sure they get there and acclimatise and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's not great. That's a lot of travel in 3 weeks. Not great.
Yes,
not great.
Is. Although I think they've actually been practicing during the Six Nations England with their Diddy team, because it doesn't seem to be doing them any good. But I'm like a milk for table 10 tonight. Well, are we up to date yet? Have we have Edinburgh got back into the lead at all? While we're on the
still 7-14.
It's half time, I think.
It's half time. A huge second 40 is needed.
They've just kicked off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, excellent. I'll be kicking off in a minute if they keep playing away there. Poor Bo Inventor, his last season at Edinburgh, he's heading away, and it's his 100th cap tonight, and they've all kind of gone, yippee, this is one. Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Sorry, Bo. Anyway, on to the main part of tonight's discussion. Wales 23, Scotland 26. We had a nice wee pod meeting in the middle of Edinburgh, luckily just off the end of the platform at Haymarket in a bar to watch this one. And we got tries from Kyle Stein, Finn Russell, Darcy Graham, who now is equal with Duhan van der Merwe and George Turner. Leslie, I know how Allan felt because I think he almost crushed the plastic glass we were served a pint in a bar in Edinburgh. He almost crushed it in front of us when he was watching the game. What's your thought? How did you find the game itself?
I actually turned it off. Well, actually, I did turn it off. I went upstairs and left my husband watching it because I thought, I cannot watch these last 5 minutes. I can't do this. My heart rate and my blood pressure are not going to cope. I thought they're going to lose this and I'm going to be raging. So I was like, no, I'm not watching. I'm away. So Scotland, wasn't it? It was just the highs and lows of Scotland rugby right there. Just a really disappointing first half. Loads of chances. Dropped the ball. Couldn't do anything with it. Wales were good, much better than they have been, to be fair. I don't want to take that away from them, but Scotland should have been better than that, especially that first half.
Well, we did talk about in the last podcast before, the podcast kind of previewing the game, that we need to go down there and slap Wales around for the first time, but unfortunately it didn't seem to come through. However, it seems really weird that Allan. It seems really weird that Wales just seem to get up for one game and it's always against Scotland. I'm not right in saying.
Well, it's a wee blue pill, isn't it? The Scotland jersey for them. That's the thing. You get very excited. I was chatting to my friend Will, who makes a lot more sense than a Leinster fan has any right to do at work. And he actually made a point that I thought was pretty good, that Scotland made a mistake not taking the points with the first penalty. Crowd were up, Dander was up, and if we'd kicked the points, taken the 3, that'd have been Wales behind, and we'd have just started scoreboard pressure. And what we did was we kicked to the corner, we didn't get the line out, and then suddenly the crowd were like, whoa, we've seen this before, let's get at them, Wales. And actually, I think he's right, because there's an element, did we disrespect them slightly by not taking the 3? We certainly took the 3 against England. And yeah, I think maybe one of the learnings we should be taking is take the points, particularly early doors.
Yeah, and I think, Leslie, are we not right in saying probably that, and a few people have talked about this this week, but I think, Scotland seem to, if they're not sitting back after putting 14, 21 points on somebody in the first 20 minutes of a game, and then sit back and try and play around that and stop them scoring more tries, we seem to find Scotland in a situation where they felt they were better than they really were, went down to Wales expecting to just turn up and get on with it. And it didn't happen. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we saw England kind of hammer Wales that first week, and then France hammered them. And their performances, I don't think you could have said, oh yeah, this Welsh team might turn up, because they've won one game in the last few years or whatever.
Yeah,
I can see why Scotland thought they would have went down there as favourites to win. But yes, maybe they were. Maybe the arrogant Scot trope played its part there. We thought we
Yes,
might actually win a game.
Yeah, us arrogant Scots going down to a half
Yeah.
empty. Oh no, it's full. Millennium Stadium. Sorry, Principality Stadium. Then Alan, it seemed to be Here's the thing, Alan. Right, and we discussed this after probably about 6 Guinnesses deep. That I've kind of thought about this for a little while because obviously it's been playing on my mind to try not to think about Edinburgh playing this weekend with so I've kind of just been thinking about something else, and that was mainly Scotland. Are we doing them a disservice? Excuse me. Are we in a situation where actually Scotland went down there, came up against a Welsh team that was up for a game, played quite good. Oh God, I'm saying very good rugby, quite good rugby against Scotland. We let the nerves get to us at the beginning, but we fought our way back and took a 5-point bonus point win. Surely we've got to be. Usually, Scotland have a 20 minutes where they go missing. I didn't really see them going missing in the first half. They just couldn't finish anything. Or am I wrong? Are we making a mountain out of a molehill?
So I think there's one of these funny situations where two things are true. Scotland should have done better. Scotland should have done better. We shouldn't have been 20 points to 5 down. There's just no way we should have been against that Wales side. But Wales did come out and they played well, and we didn't at the beginning. But if you look at the situation at half time, if you told me that we'd end up with a bonus point win, I would not only have given my left testicle, I think I would have given both of them at half time to get that.
I might have given my third.
Always hang on to the third that's got a rarity value. But I think look, narrative is just a story we tell ourselves. But Scotland's fragilities were on show in the first half, and we were all a bit, this is it, not again, not again, not again. But a team that have rightly been questioned for their ability to play under pressure, for the ability to grind something out, their ability to win ugly, ground it out, stuck at it in a Principality Stadium that was jumping and turned up to be the bad guys. And actually, the second half performance makes it a net win despite the drawbacks of the first half, I think. And the slightly fortuitous call about Matt Fagerson's binding in the final ball.
Yeah. I think. Well, we could have. Let's just say we could have had a word with Mark Carley on several things. I think, but and just for those that are listening live, Edinburgh are rising. Phoenix is rising from the fire. And they're at 19-14 at the moment. Both Magnus Bradbury and Benji have both scored. Apparently, I'm allowed to use nicknames now for players, Edinburgh players, because Johnny McGinty uses nicknames for Glasgow players at the moment. So I'm allowed to, because I used a nickname for one Edinburgh player many pods ago and got absolutely slated for it by Johnny McGinty. But apparently, he's allowed to use nicknames for.
It wasn't It wasn't the fact you used a nickname. It was the specific nickname you chose, Craig.
I was only
it's not an appropriate nickname for a rugby
I'll tell you
player.
what, if he was, and I'm sure he was called Benzo at Glasgow when he played for Glasgow, but because it was me using it, it's apparently I'm just out of touch and you get nicknames. Your best pal.
Listen, Johnny is from Dundee, and that nickname Benzo is therefore quite triggering for him now. Come on.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll say no more. So anyway, we'll go back to this. So, Leslie, again, just moving on with the chat that Alan's just been talking about Scotland coming back, getting 5 points, etc. It did show this. Dare I say it? This new. What's the word? Strong, spiky, piranha style. Gregor Townsend seems to be doing seems to be maybe he's just got to a point where he's just had enough of everybody. He's not letting Tom English into the press room, and you know, I think it was about 30 odd minutes. Was it Murphy Walcott got taken off, or was it what's his name?
It was Nathan Macbeth.
Macbeth, and also he took off. Who else did he take off? I'm absolutely rubbish at this.
It was Max Williamson.
Max Williamson, both off, and on with the bench at about 30 odd minutes. Is Tooney getting to a point? Has he just had enough and he's just decided, no, I'm going to do it this way? Or is he new revitalised Tooney? A new Red Bull vitalised Tooney?
He's got his wings. I like it. I mean, I think it's Rassie that's always said you need to use your bench and you need to use it early. So hanging on to 78 minutes is perhaps not working anymore. You know, we've seen it in the past where players don't get on, or they're on for so little time to make no difference whatsoever. So if you're losing, you're down, you see players are not performing, then it's harsh, but get them off, change the picture. If this is his last hurrah potentially with Scotland, then it does feel a bit like, well, F it, and let's just kind of go for it almost from him. He's always needed to be a bit more. He's always seems very nice, Tooney. He's always seems a very considerate man. He doesn't seem to be like, he's not an Eddie Jones type, or he seems quite a nice, pleasant guy. So for him to be a bit more ruthless, I don't think is a bad thing.
And it's nice to see him.
I'm for it.
It's nice to see him use for change as well. On comes Pierre Schumann. See, I've managed to get the page up on my iPad now because I'm not fumbling about it anymore. On comes Pierre Schumann, replacing Nathan Macbeth. And then the one and the only, the person who I think made one of the biggest changes on the field was Josh Bayliss. Gregor Brown moved into the second row. Josh Bayliss came on. And Allan... I'm a big fan of. I'm not a massive. I'm a big fan of having one mobile player. Scotland have always tended to have a mobile player in the back row, a nasty number 8, and a big solid number 6. They brought Bayliss on. He gets around the park really well and made a huge difference.
Yeah. I don't know if Max Williamson was that bad. I just think he needed, as you say, to change the picture and wanted more mobility in the forwards, better breakdown work. So moving Gregor Brown to second row means that you can bring another back row on, and then you've got Jason White Mark II in the second row,
Yeah, definitely. So that kickoff. Finn Russell, the kickoff that sent, the line out throw in. If we're reading anything that Stephen Jones wants to talk about,
Loggy from the pod, Craig. Just be careful.
So he's a long time listener. I've heard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Stephen. We did like your writing until you went a bit senile after about 5 years ago, when you started to try to tell us that Owen Farrell is the world's best player, etc. You've obviously been sitting beside his dad for too long. Finn, I think we've now got a lot of English pundits now starting to talk about Finn Russell as the best 10 in the world, finally. He helped us dig ourselves out of a fairly big problem this weekend. Leslie, the kickoff that happened, there are people, there's obviously the Welsh pundits, and some pundits are coming out with, I've got people editing the photo so it looks like Darcy Graham's offside, but really Finn is one of those people that you don't want to give him an opportunity, something like that, and turn your back on him, because he is going to bite, yeah?
Yeah, well, I was reading today the obviously arbiter of all rugby refereeing knowledge, Nigel Owens, and Matt Carley had been through it together, and they both decided that it was still fine. So Nigel Owens says it's fine. It's fine. If the Welsh are caught sleeping, that's not Finn's fault. You know, if they've got their back to the ball, how is that Finn's fault? Suck it up.
Yeah.
It's not. Scotland have been on the end of these, smart plays by other teams. It's about time we did it to somebody else.
Well, it's like one of those
Give
things.
the breaks.
He does it on the Lions tour, where he took that quick tap penalty, or free kick, I think it was, and scored or helped set up the score for the Lions. You know, he's a genius. And then all of a sudden, because Darcy Graham he puts a kick out, the ball doesn't bounce usually like that. And Darcy, but Darcy Graham again, Darcy Graham just coming into his own, because I think probably that ball would have hit Doohan in the head if he'd gone after it at the moment. His luck is at the moment, but Darcy Graham, just a wonderful try.
I think we're going to see less and less of Doohan in the Scotland shirt. I think Doohan's, unfortunately, I think people have worked out Doohan's weaknesses enough that they are going to come after him, and they've worked out how to mitigate his strengths. And it was great while it lasted. Must have been love, but it's over now, to use a modern reference for once again.
The minute you start quoting Roxette to me, Alan, you just lose me. You just lose me.
The thing is, Doohan's what, 30, 31 now?
Yeah.
I mean, if he was in the All Blacks, he would have been gone by 3 or 4 years now. So you can't be holding on to old wingers. Just look at James Lowe.
Oh, you see it. Well, there's James Lowe tried to put a sprint on at the weekend, and now he's hurt himself. So yeah.
Well, he's out of the Six Nations now. So
yeah, that's actually. You know what? I'm sorry.
It's a bit of a shame, actually.
It's a shame. I don't mean to be rude about a guy who's injured, but
But it is James Lowe.
He is going to get his big slippers on and sit in front of the fire with his tartan blanket fairly soon, because he did. Like, I honestly, that I was watching that game and I just thought, every time he got the ball, no wonder Stuart McCluskey was smiling when he ran down Marcus Smith, because he's thinking, I'm 45 and I'm the fastest guy on this team. But anyway, that's a different story. I'll stay for that.
You start Ireland week early here.
Yeah. I've covered the 5 points. It's definitely okay. Outstanding player, Leslie. We'll start with you. Who's your outstanding player from the Scotland
game? Rory Darge probably did a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of turnovers, a lot of tackles, not sexy stuff, but the good stuff. Yeah, I thought he was really good. And Bayliss probably for impact player. He did make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were my two.
And Alan, yourself?
So I have to be boring and say Rory Darge. I think the one thing that I would add is apparently it was Darge that really grabbed the team by the scruff of the neck and tore into them in the dressing room at half-time. And we've spoken about how that's something that we've potentially been missing. It's not something that Townsend as a coach brings to the table. It's just not, it's not a criticism. It's just not him. So a player that can do that, I think, is long overdue. And if Darge is growing into that in terms of his stature as a leader and in the team, that can only be a good thing. I think Bayliss would be impact player. I don't want to copy Leslie's homework. But a word for Elliot Miller-Mills, who I was like, oh, he's just the next best player to Sander. He's not going to change the energy. He's now done it twice. I think he's been really good this Six Nations. So yeah, Elliot Miller-Mills has been should be mentioned in dispatches.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you go and have a look at Newcastle's signings over the last 3 months, and you look at some of the players that they've signed, people wrote Elliot Miller-Mills off, and then you see him start. He's just got better and better and better, and I think he seems to be. I'm not saying he's going to challenge Xander fully for the tight head shirt, but I think you're going to find him starting a lot more with Xander on the bench or the other way around, and they're going to really play together with that sort of thing. For me, we'll maybe get onto this in a minute, because I was going to say who should be. We've got outstanding player and who should be left out. I think George Horn came on and gave us zip that we needed. Was it George Horn that came on?
Yeah.
And for me, I think Josh Bayless, was absolutely fantastic, and someone like that. And also, I have to say, the captain, I think Sione Tuipulotu, for someone, he's having quieter games because he's actually doing, he's not just doing the flash stuff anymore. He's actually coming in and he's providing. There are so many people get sucked in on him because he, they were talking about, if they were saying about Ollie Lawrence, if Ollie Lawrence could have Sione Tuipulotu's hands, he would be an absolute superstar. And it's the same, because Sione can do the Ollie Lawrence, sharp line, but also can tip it out the back really, really easily while he's doing that sharp line. So I think Sione, a wee word for the captain. I think he did a very, very good job as well.
He did a nice job of, I think it was in the second half. I don't know if Scotland got a turnover or something like that, but he was really trying to G the guys up and, try to get a bit of life in them, I guess. Just, slapping backs, all that kind of stuff, just to, we saw from George Horn before, getting guys riled up. So that was good to see, especially from Sione, the captain, who didn't do much in that Italy week, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think what's nice about Sione, and I have to, I'm sorry, I'm not piling the SRU, but I made a wee snidey comment at the beginning, but I'm not piling the SRU, but he's not. His SRU cloak is slipping slightly when he's interviewed, and he actually gives you real answers. There's a few times he's been interviewed and he almost looked angry at the questions he was being given, which I like about him. I like that a lot. I want someone to show me what they're feeling, rather than just saying, yeah, well, I'm disappointed, but we're going to take the learnings from this week and put them into next week and do exactly the same thing. Alan, who should be left out? Who was disappointing this weekend?
Touched on it already, but I put Duhan in my fantasy team and made him captain, because I felt if ever a game was made for a flat track bully, slightly one trick pony, it was this one. And he scored me 10 points, and that's with his points doubled. So I have loved watching Duhan, but I just don't feel he's offering enough on the wing. And we have, we've got players like Aaron Reid, we've got players like Harry Patterson, Ollie Smith can do a job in the wing. I think, and obviously Kyle Rowe. So I think Darcy comes in, and then we look at someone else's back three replacement on the bench.
Yeah, I have to say, hats off to you for mentioning Harry Patterson. If we're looking for someone who's good in the air, Harry Patterson is very much the guy. But we'll wait and see how we go. Leslie, yourself, who did you feel should have been left out, or should be left out next week?
I don't think he should be left out, but I'm not a huge fan of Matt Fagerson at 8. I don't think it's his best position. But with lack of Jack Dempsey, I get it. I get why he was there. I just don't think that's his best position. But copying Alan's homework, yeah, it's Duhan, isn't it? It's a real shame. It is. He's been a great player, but he's had his injury niggles for a wee while now, and maybe just needs to sort them out, have a bit of time off, and come back. But at the moment, he's just not looking anywhere like where he was and what he can do. It's a shame because he looks a bit kind of sad as well, which is it's awful to see. But you can't pick players from sympathy either. We need to win.
I guess Scotland is his only time he can have some fun, and he actually gets the ball passed to him. If I was
none of that.
if I was going to have to sit on the wing and not be passed the ball while I was playing for Edinburgh, I'd be sad too. Myself, I'm going to be maybe controversial. I don't know. Controversial, yes, that's me. Ben White. I found Ben White slow. I thought Ben White was indecisive on the weekend, and I felt that George Horn just seems to be ready and up for it at any point in time. Now, I'm not saying George Horn is perfect. I know that George, well, of course, he's a Harrow 5 player, so he is perfect. But I just feel Ben White maybe need to let George start once and see how it goes. And I think France would probably be a good game for that because, you know what the French are like with, they tend to do well on break, on turnarounds, on defensive turnarounds. So in open play, so I just feel that the ruck speed has slowed down dramatically with Ben White, which I'm not. It hasn't happened. It's been a while since it's happened, but watching the game, and I think we were fairly vocal in the pub. There was a lot of people that were fairly vocal in the pub about it. Just felt that Ben White was just a little bit slow. So I'd like to probably see George start next weekend coming, but I'm not entirely sure what you guys think.
George Horn came on roughly about 50 minutes after Johnny McGinty started screaming for his introduction.
Yeah. I was just being quiet, but I was behind them all the way with the Harrow 5 players. Who
do you put on the bench then? If you start George, who would you then have on the bench?
I'd probably put Ben. I'd probably put Ben White on the bench to finish out the game, because if you're losing, you're going to have someone who's got the playing skills to try and solve the problem. And then if you're leading and it's starting to go a little bit crazy with Cats at the Rave with George Horn and Finn Russell going for it, you've got Ben White can come on and kind of calm things down a little bit. I just felt, I don't know if it was just because he's been playing for too long for so much, and the sort of strains and stresses that are on you for when you're playing in France, that he just looked tired, and he looked slower than I'm used to.
It's probably the opposite, because he isn't actually playing a huge amount for too long,
isn't he?
See,
there you go. Rugby knowledge out the window. That's it. I should just stick to it. I'm going to find another.
No, not at all. I've watched him a bit, and he's behind Baptiste Serrane, so he's not.
Yeah.
He's not getting. I'm not saying he's not playing. He is playing. He does a lot of like the away games where Baptiste is not, or he's on the bench or whatever. But he's often a bench spot. He's doing the George Horn role for too long a lot of the time.
But actually, a bench spot for a sort of more crazy Jouy scrum half, that would mean if he was on the bench for Scotland, he would be reprising his club role for Scotland, which is presumably to come on and calm things down. I wonder, Leslie, when you're saying about Matt Fagerson at 8, and I know what you mean, I wonder if there's an opportunity if Brown goes back into second row for the French game, if Bayliss moves to 8, and you put Matt Fagerson at 6.
There is rumour Jack Dempsey could be fit, and if he was fit, I would be tempted to play him. I just think he's our...
Anyway, sorry.
Sorry, who?
Magnus Bradbury. I think we can see how we need a heavyweight. We need someone to go forward. And
Magnus currently drawing with Scarlets at home, Bradbury.
It's not Magnus that's causing the problem. We have talked about this, Alan. It's not Magnus that's causing the problem at Edinburgh. We all know, because all the coaches are leaving at the moment. Since Sean Everett got his contract extension, everybody's going scatter. So that tells us a few things. Anyway, sorry.
If Jack Dempsey isn't fit, then yes, I would have what you said, Alan. Bayliss moves into 8. I think that would. Bayliss is he's a bigger lad, but he's probably more dynamic as well. I would say, bit more speed about him than Matt's. Just he's a very good player, and yes, he can play across the back row, and in a pinch, yep, sure, but I just don't think. I think he's better elsewhere. I would really like Jamie Ritchie to have been fit. That would have been really good, but not for 8, right enough. But you know, just having that, I think we missed him a little bit.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I quite like Matt Ferguson at 6, I have to say, and you know, have someone fairly mobile like Rory Darge or Jamie Ritchie on 7, and then big Bruce.
I quite like him from the. I quite like Ferguson from the bench. He comes on and he's just like Mr. Angry, ready to go.
Yeah.
And that having somebody like that coming on, angry, fired up, you know, I quite like that. But we can only play with what we've got.
Well,
so we'll
see
just have to fit people in.
How the old Australian is feeling and see what he says to it. So, what next for France? Any team changes from you both, apart from what we've just discussed? Maybe bringing Bayless to start.
I think we yeet Doohan into the sun, unfortunately. Maybe that'll get him back his lovely blonde locks as well.
I quite like the depressed, dark Doohan.
Goth Doohan.
Goth Doohan. I hate you all.
He's a way to record his feelings about the match in his live journal.
It's going to write some beat poetry about his how hard done by he is, and Sean Everett.
Yeah, absolutely. And Schumann just snapping his fingers in the background. Yeah, Darcy in for Doohan, and I think it depends what you want on the bench. Do you go with someone like Hutchinson? Do you go with Stafford? You know, because Stafford, you've got someone that can at a pinch play 6 if you need. But it'll probably be Hastings or Tom Jordan, and then Kyle Rowe, I would have thought, would be the options on the bench then.
Well, I definitely think Blair Kinghorn brought something to the game. I think he set up that, Finn and Blair galloped into space to give Kyle Steen, to set up Kyle Steen in the first try. I did notice, Leslie, you've got a bit of a twitch when we say Rory Hutchison. Just you're a bit like, whoa, you look like you're eating a lemon there for a second. What's your hatred for Rory Hutchison?
I didn't say I hated him. I just think he is a defensive liability, and I think France would just be running through him. I don't. He's good in attack. He's brilliant for Northampton. I won't take that away from the guy, but I just defensively don't think he's great.
Right.
And I just don't think against France that is wise. Personally, I'm sure he's
up the BQ a wee bit.
Stafford's.
There you go.
Stafford's playing this weekend, so chances of seeing him are probably slim.
The thing is, if Sione and Shuggy are both, see, I'm using a Glasgow nickname. If Sione and Hugh Jones are both fit, I don't see them being replaced at all anyway. Although I think Jones was taken off in the Welsh game.
He was, yeah.
But I think pretty much, for me, it's definitely going to still be Finn Russell, Sione, Hugh Jones, staying on the wing, along with Darcy starting on the wing, and Blair Kinghorn at 15. I'm sure that's, I think if anyone's going to deal with Thomas Ramos, it's going to be Blair Kinghorn, giving him a shove out the way, because he was doing, I don't know. Even if you put Kinghorn in for Doohan instead and put Kyle Rowe at 15, but I think you're going to need Kinghorn at 15 on his game.
Yeah. I would like to have seen Kyle Rowe at 11, sorry, but I don't think we'll see it.
Well, at least I'm not believing the hype at the moment. I personally think that we've got better wingers at the moment. Just to upset the Leach. I think I do like Kyle Rowe at 15. Don't get me wrong. I think Kyle Rowe at 15 is very, very good. I just think you're going to have to excuse me here. Excuse me.
Right.
Excuse me. I do. That's it. You see, I've mentioned Kyle Rowe twice. If I have to start sneezing. But yeah, I think I'm not entirely sure. Kyle Rowe is one of Tony's favourites. I'm sure. But
See, I love Kyle Rowe. He's a man that's stared losing his professional rugby career. I stared down the barrel of it twice, when he didn't get a contract out of the academy, and then when London Irish went under. And that man just fights for everything. And, so much respect for him for that. But I do think we have better wingers, but do we have a better 23 option? Bench number 23? I don't know if we do, actually. Unless Harry Patterson, but I mean, Rowe's also playing this weekend, which does, it's the Stafford conundrum.
Yeah, absolutely. So and also people like I was going to just mention it. I've totally not forgotten the name. I would like to see Patterson get the chance that I also.
Is it Aaron Reid you've forgotten, Craig?
No. I was thinking, do we? Yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers the trapdoor.
Yeah.
Do we call for Burke and have the Fergus Burke conundrum come on instead of our friend Hastings? Does he go on the bench instead of Hastings?
No.
Look at this total silence, and that means I'm talking out my backside.
I'm trained to spot delirium, right? And I am worried that the man flu has got to your brain.
I'm on a great cocktail of drugs. Maybe I should just stop. Just say no. Well,
sorry,
Alan. Listen, just because Johnny McGinty is getting a makeover tonight just for his dance routine later on, doesn't mean you have to do some dancing. And
he's in hair and makeup. Do you think it's makeup in his head to stop it being shiny, or just a wee bit of polish? Just for all of you out there, Johnny McGinty's not with us tonight because he is doing hair and makeup for a dance event. Now we don't know if that's he is helping doing hair and makeup for his daughter's dance event, or whether he is going flash dance, or trying to be the Dundonian Channing Tatum, I should say. So we don't know what's happening, but he keeps saying this, and none of us have questioned it. That's the thing. We're all just kind of going, yeah, okay, Johnny, yeah, the hair and makeup, yeah. So we'll have to. This is why Johnny's not here tonight. So it'll be interesting to see. And there's no John Anderson tonight because John, unfortunately, he's not ill. He's just still dealing with a massive hangover that he seems to have gotten from Saturday, because he was texting us, all of us, while he was watching the game, and I think he was about 10 or 15 pints deeper than we were. So anyway. We noticed John was drunk despite having been out. Well, you'd been working, Craig, but the rest of us have been out since the Ireland-England game. So, yes. And actually, a point on that, I just want to call out Johnny McGinty. My first Johnny McGinty in a night out story, Johnny McGinty suggested that we went to Innis and Gunn. And so I met up with our illustrious pod elder, and we went to Innis and Gunn, and we thought we'd watch the game there, and we were in, and I said, there's no tellies. There's absolutely no TVs in the bar. We're not staying here. So we ended up wandering down the West End to find somewhere showing the game.
They were just Innis and Gunn on the Lothian Road. They were just surrounded by hipsters deciding what licorice lager they wanted, and they don't do TVs there. They were just too busy standing around stroking their beards. I love Innis and Gunn. I'm sure they're a fantastic company, and they've got a lot of people love their beer, but I just find it dries my mouth out. It's almost like anyway, that's a different story. I'm just getting totally slanted. I'm going to stop now because the drugs are kicking in. Big shout out to Cammy Black as well. Cammy Black was up with us as well, and it's just great to see him. And hopefully we'll get him onto the podcast at some point to bring his what's the word? his certain sense of humour and anarchism, anarchic sensibilities onto the pod at some point. Anyway, right, that's us. All we've really got to do. Are you going to push the button, Alan, or am I pushing the button?
Craig, I'll always push your buttons, pal.
Yeah. As the.
Let's not. We'll get taken off.
What's the band that keep changing the folk in it? The girl band that keeps changing on it.
Sugar Babes.
Sugar Babes. Let's do as the Sugar Babes do and push the button. Alan.
I don't think this is the best lineup, the three of us.
Hands in the rock, who has got their hands in the rock? Hands in the rock, hands in the rock, who has got their hands in the rock?
It's that time of the night. We're at the. I said night. I went all the way through managing to say as if it's
Craig,
not.
you've not gone all the way through first sentence. Those three.
Anyway, it's that time of the day, night, whatever you want to call it, on the podcast that we have a chat about the thing in rugby that's been ripping our knitting this week. And we'll start with you, Leslie. What's your hands in the ruck?
Well, John Anderson has his Scotland Rugby fans as his standing item. I have old men on the internet. And
Hey, listen, you've not been on my Twitter feed at all. Leave me alone.
It isn't all old men. It's just some old men. And I'm sure there's a woman as well. I'm sure it's, I just happened to have seen old men this week. So obviously our under-20s played against Wales, matching up with what the senior team did. And they didn't win. They went down quite a lot in the first half, came back a little bit in the second half, but not enough to win. Welsh team is pretty good. It's no biggie. And there were old men howling at the moon because the under-20s lost. And our fly half is a 17-year-old still in high school. Let's get a grip on reality here. He doesn't need old men shouting at him and saying that he is the reason they lost the game. He's a kid. He's actually a kid in school. Calm down. It's just a game. He's a kid. The only people he needs telling him what he needs to do are his coaches. Everybody else, get in the sea. It just irates me that we're blaming children for not winning a game. Please calm down. You're an idiot. So that's been my hands in the ruck this week.
Yeah, and I think this is the problem. And I'm going to jump on here. Sorry, Alan. I'm going to jump on here quickly and just do mine. My hands in the ruck are very similar. Funnily enough, John Anderson and John Anderson's infected me with his Scotland fans' hatred. I did find it very difficult to look on the forums and on social media after the weekend, and some of the bile that was being, it's just typical Scotland. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, and we've had a wee discussion earlier on about Scotland coming back from, a losing situation at half time, quite a bad losing situation, and we got a 5-point win. We're sitting second in the table. Can we not be happy sometimes? And can we not? And as you know, and as you've just talked about, Leslie, we're very, very quickly very, very quick, especially people like Duhan, for example. Everyone's talking about Duhan, and you can see his mental health at the moment is suffering. And I was thinking I'd love to have Depressed Dark Duhan as the pod title, and I think to myself, no, hang on a minute, that might not be good, because he isn't right at the moment. Yeah. And we need to just. I'm not a happy clapper. I'm not someone that says, everyone, let's just get behind the team and show them all that they're all fabulous. We do, as I've and my personal hatred for our current Edinburgh coach, is well known. However, they have just won, so well done, Edinburgh. Fun enough, who scored the winning try? Alan McDonald? Harry Patterson. Anyway,
I thought you were going to say Magnus Bradbury there.
No. He was involved, but anyway. So yeah, I think for me, again we need to just remember. And Johnny and John Anderson love to rip me apart. And I said you've got to remember that these are somebody's kids that are out there, and think of the children that they are. And just as you say, they are someone's kids. And if that was my son, who, I saw him go through a bit of rancor this week with his rugby team and making a decision that affected the rugby team. And I saw what he was going through, and it was not a massive stress, but he was worried about what was going on. He takes quite a lot on his shoulders. These guys that are high performing and they're 17, 18 years old, and they've got an old voice that typing on the computer with one finger that they're absolute this and that and the other. I almost said it. I just think it's pretty crucial.
I agree. We can be critical of how someone's played. We can be critical of how they're doing, but I don't think we should ever forget they're a person who's might be going through stuff. And a case in point is some of the England fan backlash against Maro Itoje. The man's mum's died. He's obviously felt he can play on through it. It's obviously, I suspect it's Maro's decision to keep going on. Whether or not the coaches should say it's the Italy match, Maro, have a rest. That's all discussions to have. But we don't exist in rugby players don't exist in a vacuum. There are people with stuff going on in their lives and things, and we shouldn't make it worse.
Yeah.
We had this. Oh, sorry.
No, you go, mate.
With the situation in the Scottish Rugby Forum after the Italy game, where it looked like a current Scotland international had applied to join the forum, and I was like, so I actually direct messaged them to say, listen, are you sure? Because the chat often gets a bit rough, and there's often a lot of really unfair criticism of players. You usually come off okay. I'm not going to say who it was, but you'd hear stuff about your teammates, unless you want to just go on and laugh at people, and that's fine. And they came back with, no, it was a mistake. Someone sent me a link, I clicked on it. I didn't mean to join. I'm staying off social media just now. Which I totally rated the response.
Yeah, no, just to remind everyone that anyone from English rugby or support English rugby that are listening to the podcast, especially the Scottish Rugby podcast, England are not bifing because of Maro Itoje. Maro Itoje is off colour and he's still a phenomenal player. England are bifing because, well, first of all, they can be run down by a 55-year-old Irishman who's smiling at them. But that's a Rugby Jesus has sunk down quite dramatic. The Romans were chasing Rugby Jesus right down the park.
We have to deal with your ageism, Craig. Your blatant ageism.
I'm blatant ageism. Well, Stuart McCluskey is getting older every time I mention him, so it's
like Benjamin Button in the reverse. Yeah.
Has he got an Australian dad? I'm not entirely sure. That's anyway. Right, okay. Alan, any hands are up from you today?
Yes, we kind of touched on it a wee bit, but I want to go into it more. The amount of moaning from Welsh rugby fans about Darcy's try and about admittedly justified complaints about George Turner's try and Matt Fagerson's binding. He briefly binds on to Turner and then just slides up the ruck, and it probably should have been a penalty. But the amount of people shouting about Matt Carley and how Matt Carley let them down. And there's two things, right? Firstly, after a try like Darcy's try, do you not believe that the first thing the TMO does isn't hit rewind and check everything's all right? Because if it's not all right, they'll come back and say, not good, can't do that. And that's the first thing they'll do, because they'll be like, was that all right? I don't think that was all right. That's just So that's going to be checked straight off. And, Matt Fagerson sliding up the side of the ruck was the other side of Matt Carley. There's an assistant referee there. There's a TMO team there. And it's not the referee's fault. There are people that should help him with that stuff, and they didn't. And the thing I hate absolutely 100% most of all is I have just had to launch an impassioned defence of Matt Carley. Be better, people.
Yeah, when Matt Carley is being mentored by Nigel Owens and told that you've actually made the right decision, that's when it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what you think, Leslie, but for me, I find it difficult. I'm not entirely sure that the Matt Fagerson was a penalty because he did start the ruck from behind.
But he changed his binding, didn't he? Because
he slid forward. He was still touching
his arm.
George Cooper.
He is not Inspector Gadget, Craig.
Much like his George Cooper's wife might be rubbing his back just like she does, but just slipped forward. Accident. There we are. And George wriggled out the back to produce the ball, and then go down and have a try. But come on, it's still like Scotland to be on the end of a really, really crap decision from Matt Carley.
The thing is, Scotland had done that fancy little line-out move mere minutes before, and Matt Carley was like, "Oh, sorry, lads, I wasn't paying attention. You need to do that again."
And then Wales fell for it again.
Yeah,
more fool then.
Well, the thing is, we've been there. Everyone remembers that no try from the France game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the
line out against Australia.
And it took 11 billion hours to come to a decision by the bloody referee. And we have been there so many times on the wrong side of these decisions. So, sorry, Wales. I don't care if it's a penalty or not. It was given. The game's done. It is what it is.
Oh, sorry. #, sorry, not sorry. I had lost the run of myself in the pub by that point and was screaming. I had to apologise to Johnny's friends that were sitting next to me because I suggested that the Welsh got it right up them. I was not as polite as that. I genuinely didn't text my mate Geff for the rest of the evening because I was like, no, I'm staying away from WhatsApp because we might end up in an argument that's difficult to take back.
Well, for the amount of times that we've been down to the Principality and absolutely thrown it away, and the amount of times that we had the same issue we have currently with Ireland against Wales, though they can get it right up them. But that's we'll on that note, we will leave it at that. The collective that is the Scottish Rugby Podcast is about to finish. Thank you to everyone who listens, and I will give both of you the chance to say goodbye on your own without me saying goodbye for you. Thanks to both Alan and Leslie.
Thank you and good night.
See, I'm trying to be more sort of collective. It's a collective, you see. It's not. Well, I do thank you for joining me, but it's not really my podcast, so it's more of a sort of like I'm trying to be. I've totally ruined it. I totally had it all sorted out. It was all perfect, and then I've just talked far too much.
But he's listeners. He is trying to pretend he's not a dictator behind the scenes, but honestly, the Craig that's on the pod is so different from the Craig we have to deal with. We will, and I will be in trouble for this.
Yes, yeah, you will. I'll be talking to China about things. Anyway, that's we'll leave it at that. Thank you. Listen, I've had too many beaches. No, it's not beaches. I'm sipping someone, so maybe I should stop drinking them. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Have a great weekend. And here's I'm going to go and have a drink to celebrate Edinburgh winning for a change. Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.